is Nadja, and you are watching a Cozy Knitting Corner, my knitting podcast here on YouTube, where I share finished objects with you, what I'm working on, if I have any dream knitting, and also yarn acquisitions. Welcome, or welcome back if you are a returning viewer. I am so glad to have you here. Let's get started. Today I have a lot of finished projects I will share with you. My last video here on YouTube was a Vlogtober kind of episode, not a regular podcast, so it's been a while since I have sat down and chatted with you guys. So yeah, as I said, let's get started. The first finished object I can share with you is my potterware. It's the cardigan I have on right now. It is the perfect little cardigan by Pia Trans. She also have a podcast here on YouTube, and her podcast is Traveling Miss Knits, and you can find her on Instagram as missknits.dk. Yeah, I knitted this in yak and silk yarn sport weight, I think, from A Knitter's World. It is the suggested yarn, and I knitted size 4, and I knitted it on a 4mm needle. I don't know if you can tell, but it is actually it's a little big. It is a little big. Maybe I should have sized down to a size 3, but my gauge is right, and yeah, I think it's the yarn that has grown a little by blocking, or not blocking, but by washing. Yeah, it's not too big, but it is a little too big, and I am considering frogging it and knitting a size down. Someone suggested me to throw it in a wash program for wool clothing on 30 degrees, and then with a gentle spin cycle, 600 or 800. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know if I will dare that. So I'm still considering washing it in the machine or frogging it and knitting it all over, because I think I would be more happy if it was a little bit more tight fitting. I haven't put in the buttons yet, and right now I'm glad I haven't, because yeah, maybe it's not gonna be, but I love the yarn and I love the pattern. It's easy to follow. It's beautiful. It's a lot of stockinette stitch, and then it has this beautiful cable down the sleeve all the way to the ribbing, and all the way also to the neck ribbing. You knit the button band here as you go on the same needle size, so you are going to be sure to tighten your stitches on the button band. And you also do some short rows down the body to make sure that the button band doesn't, yeah, what is it called, sag, or yeah, it's getting too big or floppy. So yeah, it's an enjoyable pattern. Maybe because it is a little bit too big, it's hard to tell, but you can tell that the raglan construction is not a regular raglan construction. It's a compound raglan, I think it's called, where you increase on the sleeve and on the shoulder, on the body or the sleeves, in a different ratio. It's hard to tell, and it's also a paid for pattern, so I won't reveal anything. But yeah, the meaning of it is that it's fitting over your shoulders and not slipping off. But because mine is a little too big, I tend to, yeah, pull it up anyways. But the yarn combination, yak and silk, is so nice. It's not itchy at all. It's softened up by washing also, and I'm not I'm not hot in this. I can use it inside, and I have never been hot in this. Like, you know, if you knit a mohair sweater, or a sweater with mohair or thick wool yarn, you can't get hot. This one I think is very nice and not too hot to wear inside. Well, what can I say more? I don't know. how long it took me to knit it, but I started when the PLC cal was going on, and I did not finish, but it was not a demand to finish either. I did not win anything in the knit-along, but that doesn't matter. It was a fun pattern to knit, easy to follow. There was something, my stitch count didn't end up matching when I got to the ribbing, but I just took notice of what I did and did the same on the second sleeves, and no one will ever notice that I had one or too many, one too little stitches. No one can tell. So yeah, that is my perfect little cardigan by Pia Trans. Then I have also finished something I was working on when I talked to you last time. My Sophie Scarf in this blue cashmere yarn from the Aberdeen. It's not a 100% cashmere, then it wouldn't be as cheap. But yeah, I love knitting these Sophie Scarves. It is like the most of them knitted my way, and that means that I am not following her decrease and increase rate and how many times to do it either. I'm just trying it on as I go and turning when I think it's long enough. And the reason why I'm not following it is because I don't want my scarves to be that, is it called wide? But yeah, thick. So this is how wide it's gonna be right now if I'm doing it exactly this way. There is something sad about this. I don't know if you can tell, but right there, a little thread of the nylon thread has, yeah, it was stuck on my zipper in my project bag, in this one. And I couldn't get it loose, but I was gentle and I tried, and then it came out like this with a little loose thread, and luckily it didn't break. I think I'm going to try to sew it in, stuff it in, like if you're weaving in a little bit tiny end. But yeah, that is that is a shame, but I think I can fix it. Or if I cannot fix it, it will be okay. Then I will survive it. I just love blue, and this bright blue, I think it's really, really beautiful. I don't think you can have too many Sophie scarves. I know it's just garter stitch and it's not hard, and you can do this by your own or by yourself without the pattern also. If you are just a little bit experienced knitter, I would say. And you can follow tutorials on YouTube on how to increase and decrease and make an I-cut edge. So yeah, but anyways, I have the pattern, and I have followed it once, and the rest of them I made my own way. When I'm making this for my daughter and her friends, for example, I'm making them even less thick or wide. I'm making them, yeah, very narrow, because they are only 14. They are kids. They don't have a big neck, and they like it that way. So you can adjust to the person who you're giving it to, or to yourself or your children. So I just love the Sophie scarf, or that kind of scarf. You can also knit lots of beautiful scarves out there with the little lace pattern on one edge, or picot edge, or yeah, some of the patterns or some of the scarves even have some structure, and that's also beautiful. But for me, this is like sock knitting. It's my mindless knitting. It's my garter knitting, and I just love garter knitting. So yeah, I'm nearly always having a Sophie scarf on my needles, like I'm always having a minimum one sock on my needles. So yeah, the next project I have written down here, I showed you last time also, but it was a work in progress. I had one finished August sock. I will put in a picture. I have gifted the August socks to my mom. They were knit out of 3 different scraps from my leftover sock yarn basket. One of the scraps, the darkest pink one, is an Avetta from Filcolana. I know that, and I think that the light pink is a solid color from Hobbii yarn. The unicorn yarn from Hobbii in the solid color as the light pink one. And the purple one, I don't know where it's from at all. But yeah, they are finished, and she is very happy to have received them. And then I have not shown you my September socks at all. I don't think I have shown you either in my October. But here they are. And I have 2. It is a vanilla sock with 2x2 ribbing and a slip stitch heel. I tried to follow the slip stitch heel from the heel do-si-do pattern from the Crazy Socklady. I almost always do a shadow wrap heel because that is the heel I know without looking in a pattern. But I would like to do more of these slip stitch heels because I think, yeah, they actually fits well. This yarn is from CamijoYarn, Camilla. She also has a podcast here on YouTube. I think it's just called CamijoKnit. She is dyeing such beautiful yarns. I love her yarns. This one is called Jame's Flamingo. And it is a hand-dyed sock yarn. I can't remember the base. She has different bases to choose from, but it is a sock base. So yeah, that was my September socks. And now I just talk like everyone knows, but I said August socks, and this is my September sock. And this is my October sock. So let's just talk about what is this sock of the month. It's because here in Denmark I am participating in a Danish knitalong called 12 par på et år. Directly translated, it means 12 pairs in 1 year. So we are knitting from stash, 12 pairs of socks, 1 each month. So this one I finished as my October socks. Aren't they just pretty? Yes, I can improve on my color work, on socks at least. It's actually quite hard for me to do so. This one looks a little wonky, so I will take this one. I think the blogger is bigger. I cast on size down from what I ended up with here. It is the Film Reel Socks by Alex Parker Mooney on Ravelry. It's a free pattern, and there's a lot of sizes, and I can't remember the inches of your foot circumference and everything, but this is the size 72 stitches, and I cast on the number down as a start and tried it on. I got around not quite to the heel, but a good amount down, and I tried it on and I couldn't get it over my feet. I talked about it in my Vlogtober also. I couldn't get it over this point on my foot because the floats were too tight. They were not stretchy, as you know a vanilla sock can be or is. So I unraveled and I sized up to the 72 stitches, but I didn't do it all the way. I unraveled to the ribbing. So this is not 72 stitches. This is a size smaller. I think is it 66 or 68? I can't remember. You can check in the pattern. It is free. And then I increase on the first round of the white stripe, and I knit the size 72 all the way, the rest of the sock. And I knitted this, I shifted from magic loop also to 9-inch circular, and I knitted it inside out. So my floats were on the outside of my knitting, and that helped. It can fit on my foot now, and it's not loose or anything. It's looking a little bit loose here. I haven't washed and blocked it yet, so yeah. Maybe the color work will even out a little bit more when it's washed, but I think they are beautiful. It was my October pair, so of course it's knit in Stash yarn. The very variegated orange, pink, yellow yarn is from Hobbii. I think it's called Atlas. I can't remember the color name, but it is a Hobbii yarn. The white stripe is a Sandness Sisu yarn, and the black is any given black sock yarn I had on stash. A little, yeah, scrap. I don't know where it's from or anything about it. But yeah, these 2 socks are done, and I'm very proud of them. I think they are so beautiful, and they are hot. They are nice and warm to wear, and it's gonna be a pair of homey socks. I'm not gonna wear these to work in shoes and stuff like that, but it's gonna be sitting home and enjoying myself while I'm knitting. I'm gonna wear these, and it's also filled up with ends inside. You can't see, but I haven't woven in any of the ends yet. A lot of them I have already woven in, but not cut them. I use this weave in Stephen method, but yeah, none of them are cut. So you can feel it if you're touching it, all the ends inside. But it's just typical me. When I finish a project, socks, anything, weeks can go by where I'm not weaving in the ends. You will see on one of my other projects as well. That's not my. I'm not a fan of weaving in ends. When I'm doing it, it's not that I'm bothered by it. It's just I don't. Yeah. The excitement of the knitting the project is over, and I'm on to the next one, and I am not weaving in the ends. Yeah, but I actually made another pair of socks in October for my son. I talked about that in Vlogtober also, but I was going to a seminar and I needed some mindless sock knitting, so I casted on a vanilla sock for him in Halloween colors. It was some leftover yarn from last Halloween, where I also knitted him a pair of socks in the same yarn. This time I put in a dark teal scrap yarn for heel, cuffs and toes. Heel, cuffs and toes. Oh my god, words today. I'm so sorry. But he's wearing them, and he has been for the last 3 or 4 days, so I will not show you his dirty socks. I will put in a picture or a video of him wearing them, and I'm just glad that he's glad and he loves them, and he's having them all the time. So of course I will knit him many more socks because he's using them. So that's just nice. So yeah, that was the last pair of socks that I will show you. And that was actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 projects. Whoa, that was fast. And the last project, if I'm holding it up like this, whoopsie, you almost can't see the ends are not woven in, can you? But they aren't. They are still here. And that means that I haven't worn this scarf yet. Before I will unfold, you can have it close and have a look. It's a Mosaic scarf. It's Mosaic knitting. That means this color work is made out of slip stitches. It is an old project. that I finally finished. And the reason why I finally finished it is not that it's boring to knit on, it's just because I have a lot of ongoing WIPs always. But when I was finishing this one, I think it was this one, I needed the needle, and I had no free cables in the length that I needed. And then I was going through my project bags to see what project am I close to finishing. So I will finish that project, get the wire, and I can finish the cardigan. I think it was like that. So, and it took me actually a while to finishing it. Now I will show you. I can't explain what happened, but this is the top edge, I think. This is my cast on edge. It's like a cast on edge is, but on the other side, my cast off edge is a kind of funny. I don't know. I think I followed the pattern. I'm sure I followed the pattern. And it says nothing special to do. It's just saying cast on in that color. It makes these little loops. I don't know if it's because of the mosaic knitting or what, but I can't get the loops to go away. Can't stretch it out. So I'm living with it. It's okay. But it's all the way, more or less loops all the way. Yeah, and I show you the wrong side, sorry for that, but yeah, loops. So yeah, I'm not sure if I did anything wrong, or is it the yarn, or is it that way with mosaic knitting? Shall I do it in a special way when I'm binding off mosaic knitting? I don't know, but yeah, soon I will also weave in the ends on this beautiful scarf, and then I can use it, because it's November here in Denmark now and everywhere else, but it's November, and that means that the weather has changed. Not that it's freezing cold outside. We are actually having quite warm weather, unusual for the season, but yeah, what can I say? Isn't everything around in the world weather-wise a little bit off season most places? Strange things happen with our climate, and yeah, we are more or less guilty. Mankind is guilty of disturbing nature and disturbing the climate. So yeah, that's not good, but it is actually quite warm for November in Denmark. But eventually the cold weather will come and I can use a scarf, and yeah, it's a beautiful scarf, so I can just tuck in the little loops and everything will be okay. That was all of my finished objects. That was a lot. I'm sorry if I rushed through. I don't know, have I anything else to say? No. All of the socks I've shown you has also been vanilla or stripy socks. There is not much to say about vanilla or stripy socks. Yeah. So I will go into my WIPs now. I have, of course, a November sock on my needle. This time it's not a vanilla sock. I felt like doing a pattern. So I cast on a heel toe do-si-do sock. It's a pattern by the crazy Socklady. I will try to put it on my hand here. And you can see the chevrons, is it called chevrons? On the front of the leg here, and on the back of the leg, just stockinette stitch. You knit through the back loop on the knit stitch on the ribbing. And the pattern to make this is very easy to remember, at least for me. It's not a hard pattern to follow. So yeah, I'm almost at the heel now. And this is, as you saw on my September socks, a slip stitch heel. And then it's on the foot. And what is the date? It's the 10th of November today. So I have a while to finish. I'm knitting it in a Christmas yarn from Lana Grossa. It's a Meilenweit. I don't know if it's the name, I can't tell you, but the color has a number 6751. It's a stripy Christmas color. And I had this on Stashbusting stock. I have had this, I think I also had it last Christmas, so it's more than 1 year in my stash, maybe 2. Can't remember where I bought it or who gave it to me, but yeah, it's a Meilenweit Christmas yarn from Lana Grossa. I knit my socks on, always actually, on 2.5 millimeter needles. This is, what are they called? Is it Eddie Novel, I think. It is a Eddie Novel knitting needle. And you can see they are, yeah, they have a structure to it. And I think it's because they're supposed to be more ergonomic correct to knit with. Now I can't knit with them because we're in the pattern am. Yeah, but I'm not struggling with pain in my hands when I'm knitting, so I just bought them to try them, and it's not my favorite needles actually to knit with. They are not bothering me either to knit with, so I do it. I almost knit all my socks on magic loop, and this was the free needles I had when I cast on this project. Yeah, actually the film reel socks, I think this needle size in the pattern is 225. I don't have a knitting needle in 225. In Denmark it is not a normal needle size. 2.5 is more normal. 225, it is not the most common knitting needle in millimeters here. So I did not have that. And because of my gauge or my floats were too tight, it didn't bother me to knit it on 2.5. So I'm almost, yeah, I can't go down to 2.25. So I'm knitting all my needles, I'm knitting all my socks on 2.5 millimeter, unless it says you need to do it on a 3.5 or 3 millimeter. So yeah, that was my November socks. I have cast on many months ago also a Christmas sock. I can't remember when I did it, but it was something to do with school, and we were having a little booth, something to support the classes with some money for their trips and stuff like that. And we have a little knitting club in my son's class, some of the moms. And we put in some yarn from everyone's stash, threw in some needles and decided to knit anything. It could be elastic bands, scrunchies and socks and little scarves, but we started to knit. And then the plans were changed, and we shouldn't have knitted items at the booth, so we stopped knitting again. But I still have this project lying around, and I haven't touched it since I stopped knitting on it, and I think it was last year. So the scraps, that was I'm going to talk about. This is one of my own scraps. I think it's a Hobbii yarn, the one with the glitter. I think it's a Hobbii Christmas yarn. This scrap, it was from one of the other moms. It is Christmas yarn, but I do not know from who and from where and what. So yeah, scrappy socks. The lucky thing was that I cast on a size European 37. I don't know why. When I picked it up, I was through the heel. So I had the leg and the heel and maybe here until the red on the foot, so I could not do anything about. I think the leg is a little short, but my son has forgiven me that, and I have continued, and now I'm ready to do the toe. And he has one Christmas sock that he can wear, and he loves wearing my socks. I just told you that, so it's perfect. So these 2 Christmas socks I will knit here in November, and then they can be ready for December, the month of Christmas. I love knitting Christmas socks in Christmas yarns. I love Christmas. I love Christmas decorations and lighting candles, and I also have a little Christmas decoration over here, and something I bought in Frederikshavn last weekend. So I just love Christmas. But if you are going to wear your Christmas socks in Christmas seasons, yeah, you need to knit them now, or even in the summer times maybe. But I can knit a pair of socks or 2 in a month. So yeah, it is Christmas socks this month for me. Then I also cast on a new Sophie Scarf, because maybe I have told you, I can't remember, but one of my daughter's friends' mom wrote to me one day and said that she would like a Sophie Scarf as the one I knitted for her daughter, and she would also like to pay for it. And I told her if she could only wait for me to finish this blue one without me giving her estimated time of that day I would finish it, and that means whenever I will finish, she could have it for free. So this is how far along I got on the new Sophie Scarf, and this is one of the sizes I knit for the girls. Not at all very wide, very, very narrow. And as she is using her daughter's, and that is the one she likes and wants a copy of, I'm trying to reconstruct. I have told her it's not certain that I will match the exact same size as her daughter, because yeah, I'm doing it as I'm going, and she understands that. So yeah, one of these balls with cashmere yarn and one little bit cone of nylon thread, I think, is enough for 2 scarves, maybe even more. But yeah, the color is beige, and it's also from the app Shein, and it's the softest, and that is why I'm using this yarn. It's relatively cheap, it's good for gift knitting, and yeah, it's soft. Nothing is scratchy and itchy. All of the Sophie Scarves are knit on a 3.5 millimeter, or all of mine at least, I think also in the pattern. With 3.5 millimeter, I'm using my Lantern Moon. I only have this one set of knitting needles from Lantern Moon. It's made of a black wood called Ebenholdt. I don't know if that's the English word. I think I have talked about it here once, but yeah, can't remember what my conclusion was. But yeah, black hard wood, and it's here in Denmark at least, they're considered luxury knitting needles. There is something, when I'm knitting in the round, there is something in these joints I don't like. It's bothering me. Knitting back and forth, it's not that bothering for me, but going in the rounds, it was. So I'm not a fan of these needles and the cable. So this is my Sophie Scarf cable. It is almost the only project I am knitting with these needles. But again, I'm knitting a lot of them, so they are being used. It's not that they are not being used. They are just not being used for anything else. But yeah, when this one is finished, I'm sure I will cast on a new one. I have a lot of yarn and ideas and colors for Sophie scarves. I think I will knit at least 1 or 2 for Christmas gifts also, if I can manage in time. I'm not gonna knit any socks for Christmas this year, but maybe a scarf or 2 for, yeah, my sister-in-law and my sister. So yeah, that was just some small projects. I also have 2 bigger projects on my needles, and you have seen this one before. It is here. It's not even in the bag. It's on top or partly in the bag. This bag is from the Parisian knitter. It's handmade, sent to me from Paris. I love it. It is so beautiful. Really love it. She's from Paris and I'm from Denmark. That was not a problem. I don't know if she is shipping internationally. You will have to check that yourself. Before I show you the project, I can show you the yarn. Words today, Nadja. Words are coming wrong out of your mouth. It's knitted in 1 strand of Tilia Avetta Classic as sock yarn and 1 strand of Tilia Silk Mohair. Both are from the brand Filcolana. And the color is light truffle. And light truffle's number is 354. Is it that also in the Avetta? Yeah, 354. Light truffle. Where am I here? I have finished the body and picked up 1 sleeve, and if it's a little crinkled up or wrinkled, it's called, if it's a little wrinkled, Nadja, it's because it's been tucked away in a bag. But yeah, I have not cut the yarn from the ribbing because I have not 100% finished the ribbing. I will explain in a minute. But it is this nice cardigan with sleeves in half fisherman's rib, and the body is in stockinette stitch. This half fisherman's rib is so squishy and lovely textured. It's not hard to do. You just follow the pattern. She has links to a tutorial. Can't remember the name, but it's a very long pattern. More than 30 pages. The reason why it's still on try it on tubing here at the bottom. When I picked this up, let me go back. During summer, I did not knit very much on this one because it's mohair and it's warm. But when summer ended and the weather cooled down, I picked it up again because I needed to finish this garment. And then I was looking at it and I'm thinking, oh, I'm sure I remembered that I was done knitting the body and the ribbing. And I am done, but then I read in the pattern because I think, why would you have put it on try it on tubing if you were done? Why not finishing it? Why not bind off? And then I read in the pattern, it's an Italian sewn bind off. Or yeah, but it's a sewn bind off. And I think I just got lazy. I think first of all, I'm considering leaving out the mohair for the Italian sewn bind off. I did that on my April cardigan, not leaving it out, and it was a struggle. Let's just say it like it is. It was a struggle to finishing it because you have so much thread going this way sewing and then it's going the other way, and you are just pulling that strand, and there are two of them, one sock yarn and one silk mohair. It gets so tangled up, and it was very much a struggle. So someone told me then, just leave out the silk mohair and do it without. And I have not tried to sew where I did the two setup rows. I think my tutorial I found once was just sew. But this one is saying, now you need the two setup rows. And yeah, I think I just got lazy and thought, hell no, I'm not. Now I'm casting on the sleeves or picking up the sleeves. So the yarn balls are still attached because I got lazy. So it's actually a little annoying to knit on, because you have the two yarn balls from your sleeve and the two yarn balls from your body still attached while you keep on knitting and rotating this project. So yeah, maybe I just need to convince myself that it's time to sew the body, do it, finish it, and then move on with the sleeves. And you see, there's not much sleeve here. I feel like I have been knitting on this sleeve for forever, but it's moving slow. It's not a fast knit, but it's very squishy, and I think it's beautiful. This is not a long cardigan. Now it's sideways, but yeah, it's a crop cardigan, and I hope this one is not gonna end or turn out too big. I hope, because I'm not frocking this one. But yeah, in general, I think I need to knit my garments a size down from what I think, according to the pattern, I must knit. Size down, Nadja. So yeah, this is moving on, because now it's not summer and hot anymore, and I want to wear this soon, especially because this one turned out a little big. My Magnolia Chunky also turned out a little big. So yeah, knit a size smaller. That's the note to me for now. Isn't she just beautiful? I love it. Check her out on Instagram, the Parisian Knitter. She makes such beautiful bags. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I did not at all talk about anything pattern related or designer related. The first cardigan is a design by Lizzie Hester, and her Instagram tag is hive_knits, and she also has a podcast here on YouTube. I did not know, but I just found out 1 week ago maybe, and it is called Hive Knits and Natters. I will link it in the description box below. Everything I talk about, I will link in the description box below. There I will also link my Ravelry and my Instagram accounts. You can find me there as Nadja Vind, and here on YouTube as Cozy Knitting Corner, and on Ko-Fi as Cozy Knitting Corner. Yeah, but I have one more project to show you. Also a little bit. No, I have two. I completely forgot I have two. Let's start with the big one, as I promised you. It is a little funny story, or funny, but there's a little story attached to this project. So I was watching the latest vlog by Sandy by the lakeside the other day. She was in Dublin with her sister, I think, and in that vlog she showed her hipster shawl, and I just fell in love with that shawl. Here it is. Isn't it just beautiful? I think when I saw it that it looked like it could be DK weight. So I checked out the pattern, and it says 5 skeins of baby yak medium by Mosaic, going 125 yards. That is 114 meters per 50 grams. And that sums up to 228 meters for 100 grams. That's the same, she says, as light worsted or DK weight. And you are knitting this on a US 8, or that is the same as a 5 millimeter needle. So DK weight, it says, yes, I have 3 skeins of DK weight yarn in my stash. And that is a yarn from way back. It's a little rustic. I have the ball band right here. So that's the story of finding out about the pattern. I did not see it before anywhere, but the hipster shawl, it's beautiful. Sandy's is beautiful too. In this pattern, I am knitting it in this pattern, Drops Charisma. And the ball band here is in the language Norwegian, I think. And it says here it's 100% wool. It came as a skein, I have to wind it up into a cake. You can also today purchase Drops Charisma. It is also 100% wool, but it's 100% superwash wool today. I'm not sure that this yarn is superwash. I have had this in my stash for 13, almost 14 years, as long as my daughter has been living almost. And it is because my husband's father died in a young age, and my daughter was 4 months old when he died. So that's why I know that it is almost 14 years, because she is 14 years old now. When he died, we had to clean up his house and also the attic belonging to his house, and they found 3 skeins of this Drops Charisma, and I have had it in my stash ever since. And now I am turning it into a hipster shawl. It's on a 80 centimeter needle, so it's a little hard to show. I will try anyway. Yeah. It's just some of the shawl you can see. It's a garter shawl with some crossing stitches over, some structure in between, and then crossing again and more garter. Oh, it's actually this way. You cast on here and knit down. Can you see my crotches are the opposite way at first and then the right way next time? I did it wrong the first time, but I'm not going back and correcting it. It will be fine. But yeah, this is the start of my hipster shawl. Maybe I would not have chosen this yarn if I were to buy new yarn, but it was in my stash. It is a DK weight. It's going 220 meters per 100 grams, so it's perfect. Yeah, and it's nice to use up some yarn stash that has been sitting there for almost 14 years. And before it was in my yarn stash, it must have been in someone else's yarn stash. And I know that my husband's father, he was married again, so he's not married, or was not married to my husband's mother, and his new wife, she was not a knitter. So I told my husband's mother, my mother-in-law, that I think this might be her yarn. Or maybe it could be his sister's yarn. I don't know. My husband's aunt. Someone else's yarn than my husband's father's new wife, because she was not a knitter and it was on their attic. So I don't know where it is coming from and who it has belonged to, but I know it has been sitting in someone else's stash before 14 years in my stash. So yeah, now it's finally going to be a project. There was a few places when I wound up the yarn that it broke. It was, the yarn just broke. I think it's because of my moth problem. So I just spliced it and everything was fine. And because everything is fine when I splice it, I am assuming it's not a superwash yarn. See, the needles that I am knitting it on is from Knit Pro. It is the Mindful collection. And the cable is a swivel cable. And it is stainless steel. I think they are. Yeah, they are. It's not a massive needle. What is it called? Hollow? Yeah. I don't have much experience with Xiaogu needles, but I know it's stainless steel. I know they are also not heavy, and I know they are pointy. But I have experience with these knitting needles now. This is a 5mm. I think they are very pointy, very sharp, and the cable is so flexible and so not. It does not have any memory. It is a nylon coated stainless steel cable with the twisting joint. Yeah, so I bought these along with some yarn I'm going to use for some stuffed animals to try them out, because I love my knitting needles from Knit Pro, the Symphony wooden needles. And what I want is a metal needle that is what I wanted was to try out this Knit Pro Mindful needle in stainless steel, because then I can use the cables for all of my knitting needles. If I were to buy Xiaogu stainless steel, they have different cables and it's not matching my Knit Pros. So yeah, I'm actually happy to knit with these. So now I have put the whole interchangeable set on my wish list for Christmas. And I'm hoping I will get lucky and someone will gift it to me. If not, I will have to buy it myself. Yeah, I thought that was the last project because I have not written any notes about the last one here in my chair. And I know why. It's because I did not manage to sew anything of this together today. But yeah, this is also Knit Pro. It's the carbon needles. They have a tip that is steel. I don't know if it's stainless. I don't think so, but it is steel. And then the cable here is from Lantern Moon. They also fit the Knit Pro needles because Knit Pro bought Lantern Moon, so it's the same company producing, you can say. In this basket, I'll not take it out. I have shown you also once before, but in this basket lies now every body part belonging to Dorothy the mouse. What I needed to do last time I showed you was the very last leg. And this is the very last leg. I finished this today. I casted it on yesterday all of the body parts are knitted flat, back and forth, and it's a lot of sewing to do afterwards. So when it got to the tail, I knitted it in the round, and the legs, the back legs at least, I knitted in the round. Here is the tail. Because yeah, I just can't get myself to sew all that little tiny things here. So yeah, the legs are knitted flat for the first part. For this part of the foot where you do some increases to shape it, I knitted flat, and then I knit in the round afterwards. So now she has 2 legs and is finished. And the reason why I did not finish the first leg, I told you also, was that I only had a little bit of yarn left, and I was doubting it was enough. And one day, instead of ripping the first one back and dividing and so on, I purchased another skein of this Sheepiest stone washed yarn. It is the yarn described in the pattern. Beautiful, and it is a blend of cotton and acrylic. 78 cotton, 22 acrylic. So now I need to sew the body of this mouth. It's a mouse. I need to sew the body of the mouse together, seaming the pieces together, stuffing it with teddy stuffing. This is the mouth. I just keep on saying mouth. It's not a mouth, it's a mouse. This is the mouse body without her clothes, and here she is wearing her beautiful cardigan, shorts, little shirt and shoes also. So yeah, that is what I have left to do. This is a Danish translation of the book Knitted Animals by Louise Crowther. I'm not sure if you can buy the patterns online digital, but in this book there is 13 cute little animals. And of course I did not only buy one ball of Sheepiest stone wash when I was to order. I bought for making the dog. I don't like the colors of anything. Actually, I don't. My dog is gonna be brown, black ears still, and the body or the clothes is not gonna be this color. I can't remember. It's more dark and more boy blue, green, brown. Yeah, and then I bought to knit one more. So now I have yarn for a dog, and is it called a raccoon in English? I don't know. The Danish word is vaskebjørn. I think maybe it's a raccoon. If not, I will correct myself on the screen. I would like actually to knit one of each. This guy, and mine is not gonna have a red sweater. I don't like it. It's gonna be another color. And his body is looking like this. So the problem with the first animal and running out of yarn was that the animals are knitted on 2.75 needles, and I don't have that. As I talk about, it's not a common needle size, 2.25 and 2.75. So I will need to purchase such a needle in metal. I think I have it in bamboo needles from Chaogu, but I hate knitting with that needle. So yeah, I will see. But I have to knit it according to pattern. Otherwise I'll run out of yarn again, so that's not good. So yeah, you will see more stuffed animals from my hand. It's not, it has not been a quick project for me, and I know why, or I think I know why. I hate sewing pieces together, and there are so many pieces. She's gonna end up being so super cute, but I will hate to do it. Not hate, that's exaggerated. But I'm not drawn to it. I can find a lot of knitting projects being more fun than this one, because I have knitted the body parts. Everything is done. Now I need to knit the cloth, but I will not do that before I have the mouse. And so I will need to sew her together and have the mouse. So yeah, I just like projects where there's no sewing involved, actually. So yeah, I think maybe now that was it. It also was quite a lot of projects because I have not been here for a regular podcast in a while. I have a little purchase, and I will show you, because I have shown you this Mosaic knitting scarf. Last weekend we were in a Danish town called Frederikshavn, and I visited a yarn shop, and I found these 3 balls of Filcolana and Anina on sale, and I thought they looked beautiful together. Anina is a very soft yarn, and it is consisting of 100% superwash merino wool. It's running 210 meters on 50 grams. Very soft. One of the strands in this scarf is Anina. It's the multicolored one. It's a hand-dyed Anina. The other 2 are easy care. I did not mention that. I'm a bad podcaster this time. I'm so sorry. Really. If you have any questions to any of the projects that I show you, please feel free to ask in the comments. I forget to tell you things, and that's not the meaning. It's not on purpose, sorry. But yeah, one of the strands here are Anina, and the 2 other are easy care from Mayflower. And the Anina was the softest, so I thought that this could be a new, beautiful Mosaic scarf. Right? I think so. I think they are beautiful together, and I will look forward to casting it on. So yeah, I bought that in the city for Frederikshavn, in a beautiful, very big yarn shop. She also had fabric and a little interior stuff. Yeah. And then I walked by a little basket, and in the basket was this Rowan Mordale yarn. It's looking rustic, but it is not. It is so soft. It's not telling you how the blend is, but it is a blend of British wool and British alpaca. 100 grams, and I think it was 200 meters. Where does it say so? Well, I think it is 200 meters, a DK weight. My plan, I did not have a pattern in mind when I bought this. I just felt it and needed to have it as a souvenir yarn. But I think it's going to be some kind of hat for me. Now we will see. Right now it's just going to be, yeah, pet yarn for a while. And maybe this winter it will be a hat. Maybe next winter, who knows. But a hat is the plan. But plans are made to be changed, right? And it's very soft. There, I said it again. Very soft. After I had these damn moth, I keep all my yarns in little plastic Ziploc bags. Some of them are bigger, and I tell myself that it's more moth safe than ever. So yeah, I can't find anything here to talk about except one thing. I am dreaming about making a Luna shawl. And I have never ever seen that pattern before, ever. But then I saw one of the Danish podcasters showing it in her podcast, and it was beautiful. I was just like, what? And I don't know what is going on. But after I saw that podcast, okay, I googled it, found the pattern on Ravelry and liked it, saved it in favorites. And then I suggested podcasters with the Luna shawl, and yeah, suddenly I can see podcasts 2 years old where they knitted the Luna shawl. So the iPhone is listening to you and your thoughts and your searches on Google and so on, but it doesn't matter. I don't mind it. I can't remember what the yarn is suggested in the pattern are, but it's a designer from Amsterdam. Her name is Natasha Hornby, and she is the designer behind the moomstruckknits.com website, and all her patterns is also on Ravelry. I will link it down below. But the Danish podcaster has knitted in some yarn I can get my hands on here in Denmark. It's from yarn, and it's called the Cash Sock Base. So I think it's very, very, very soft yarn. So that is perhaps what I'm gonna knit mine in. Yeah, that was it. I will put in a picture of the shawl, of course. And yeah, I just think it's so, so beautiful. And that is also mosaic knitting. And I think it's a labor of love. It's gonna take a while, but it will be. I will eventually knit that shawl because I think it's beautiful. Yeah. Now I can't find anything else to talk about. It was nice talking to you. I enjoyed it. I think it was about time that I showed you my projects. And hopefully I will be back soon with a new podcast episode or a vlog episode. Until then, see you. Bye.